We're back for our daily NBA best bets and predictions here on the channel for April 26th. 4 games today in the National Basketball Association, the most we have gotten in a single day of NBA playoff action. And yesterday the Lakers lost, so that really sucks. Really sucks. Lakers in 6, I guess. I don't know. I'm not confident. I'm not going to lie. I think they can win it, but confidence is at an all-time low this year. We'll get to game 4 tomorrow on Sunday. If they don't win, it's an early game tomorrow. Oh, God. I don't know. We'll get to the Lakers tomorrow. Anyways, 4 games today. Cavs, Heat, Thunder, Grizzlies, Nuggets, Clippers, Rockets, Warriors. Some big-time games today, kind of. The biggest games at the end of the night, and that's really what we're looking forward to. I'll be honest, the first 3 are just, Well, no. I take that back. Nuggets, Clippers is a big-time game. We'll get to the other 2 as well. And folks, before we get into the video, make sure that the subscribe button down below for some more daily NBA predictions and best bets here on the channel. Earlier today, we had our MLB predictions and best bets here on the channel. So make sure to check that out. That's linked in the description down below. And also on Greedo Plays MMA, we've got our UFC fight night Machado Gary versus Pratas full card predictions. Make sure to go check that out. Again, link in the description down below. Okay, on to the first of our 4 games today. We start off in Miami, Florida. This Heat Cavaliers series is a game behind, because this is game 3 actually for them, which I don't know why they're behind everyone. I guess we're just prolonging this, but they will play again on Monday for a game 4, just like how the Rockets and Warriors will play a game 4. However, right after this game, the Memphis Grizzlies can potentially be eliminated. But it is what it is. Cleveland versus Miami. This should come to the surprise of not a lot of people. I think the Cavs win this game. We have taken Miami on the spread in both of the first 2 games of this series. I have. It worked in one of the 2 spots. It didn't in game 1, but it did in game 2. Now I'm flipping the script and I'm taking Cleveland. Okay, guys, those are the best shots Miami was going to give the Cavaliers. I personally don't believe the series being in Miami changes much. I really don't think so. And sure, okay, the Orlando Magic beat the Celtics yesterday. Okay, Celtics in 5, I'm not concerned at all. I think the Cavaliers can just, really dominate the Heat tonight. Darius Garland is on the injury report. He's questionable with a left toe strain. I think he will be fine. I think he's going to play. I think Miami may have given them their best shot. Guys, the Heat, for as long as this playoff run has felt like for them, right? Going on the road and beating Chicago and beating Atlanta and then now having to play the Cavs on back-to-back road games, they haven't been home in over 3 weeks playing a game. I mean, because they've just been on the roads for so long, and now they finally get 2 home games. And sure, this Miami crowd should be probably hyped up, I would think. But, the get-in price to get into this game is $30. Wow. I just feel like they've given them their best shot. I don't know, because if Miami was going to win a game, I really think it was going to be in Cleveland, right? Okay, I take that back. If this was going to be a competitive series, they were going to have to win one in Cleveland, because that's the momentum. That's the most momentum the Heat were ever going to get together. Like, hear me out, right? You win those 2 games in the play-in. You're building all this momentum. Cleveland's been off for a week. You got to go into their place and try to steal one. They were very close in doing that in game 2 at times, but the Cavaliers obviously are just too good and just able to hit too many big-time shots for the Heat to get back into that basketball game. Ultimately, Cleveland wins it by 9 points, right? Tyler Hero has been having a great series. Davion Mitchell has been great as well, right? I mean, Mitchell has been good in every single game they've played so far in this series. But, man, they're just outmatched by Cleveland. There are just too many threats on this Cleveland Cavaliers lineup. There just are, right? Max Strus, who is the number 4 option, will hit 4 3-pointers at a minimum per game. Donovan Mitchell scores 30 points in game 2, and he had a much better shooting night. The guy goes 7 for 10 from the 3-point line, 30 points again for Mitch. Darius Garland, 2 for 8 from the 3-point line, doesn't have a great night, still scores 21 points of the work he's able to do at the free throw line and inside as well. And you get the Twin Towers underneath Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And you talk about the bench, big minutes out of Ty Jerome, who had that crazy game 1, Sam Merrill, and DeAndre Hunter, who is their huge trade piece they got from Atlanta. I just don't think the Heat are going to make this game all that competitive. I think it's going to be a close first half, but in that second half, I really think Cleveland tries to put them away. Because the Cavaliers know, right? You win this game, series basically over. Maybe Miami gets a game 4, but you really bury them here. And the Cavs, again, are playing a team that is 8 games under 500. I know I have a different tone for this game than I did in the first 2, but I really felt like, again, those are the best spots the Heat were ever going to get. All that momentum is on their side, and now it's been completely squashed. They tried to get that game 2 on the road. Again, momentum completely gone. They're playing in a matinee game here on early Saturday afternoon. I just don't like it for the Heat. I think the Cavaliers simply dominate this basketball game. I think Donovan Mitchell has a night, and sure, again, Tyler Hero and Davion Mitchell are going to do everything possible to keep Miami in this basketball game. They are simply just outmatched. Cleveland, we will see you in round 2 against the Indiana Pacers in one hell of a series. And I know Indiana lost to the Bucks yesterday. Again, they play 7-game series for a reason. That's all I'm going to say. It is what it is. Yesterday sucked, but bounce back day to day, you know? Anyways, give me the Cavaliers to dominate this basketball game, win outright in Miami, and cover the 5.5 points as well. Next up, we go to Memphis, Tennessee. For the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Memphis Grizzlies, it is time for the Thunder to put the Grizzlies out of their misery. Ja Morant's not playing game number 4, right? He gets injured in game 3, and that's kind of what just turns the tides, obviously, in that one, allowing OKC to come back from down 29 points to ultimately win the game by 6 in Memphis. It's incredible. I'm just going to say that. Ja injury or not, it takes one type of special team to do something like that. And I know what you're going to say. Oh, they dug themselves in that hole in the first place. Yeah, guys, Memphis played a really good first half. Guys, the Grizzlies scored 77 points in the first half of that basketball game. It was one of the best offensive nights I've seen out of Memphis. Hell, I talk about this game a lot, but since when they played in Portland over in October when I watched them in Portland, Oregon, right? I mean, I haven't seen that great of an offensive output from the Grizzlies in a while. Second half, completely different game though. OKC shuts them down, Ja gets hurt, and it's a whole different ball game. OKC ends up winning the game by 6. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, we've been waiting for a really good game out of him in the playoffs, and I still don't think we've gotten that. Shai, again, still scores 31 points because that's what he does. He's going to find ways to score. But on 10 of 26 shooting, 2 for 7 from beyond the arc, and 9 of 9 from the free throw line. Okay, right? That's a good Shai game, but it's not MVP Shai, okay? And again, that's eventually going to come, and fortunately for the Thunder, they've been given a warm-up series, essentially, before they get the Clippers and the Nuggets in the second round to really get their MVP going before the playoff run truly starts. And on top of that, you get a guy like J-Dub, who's scoring 26 points. Chet Holmgren scores 24 in game number 2 against Memphis. This Thunder team's just too good for the Grizzlies. They just are. And now on top of that, you add another layer of, Ja Morant's not playing. Brant's out. Ja's not coming back unless the Grizzlies can win 2 in a row. Let's just be honest, which it will not happen in the first place because they're not going to OKC and winning. But basically, yeah, the only way Ja Morant comes back in this series, and the only way they push Ja back for this series is if they can get it back in Memphis. Because then, all right, it's a game 6, and maybe the Thunder, or maybe the Grizzlies have the Thunder back up against the ropes, and maybe they can get back into this basketball game. That's just simply put not happening. I don't believe it's going to happen. I'm taking OKC here, and I'm taking the Thunder just to dominate this game. From pillar to post, I really think OKC just puts it on the Grizzlies. I don't think the game's competitive. I think the Grizzlies are going to really struggle to get anything going offensively in this game. You look at, again, and I get Ja did not have his best game in game 3, but just his presence on the court, you know Ja's their superstar. You know he's their best player. You know everything runs through him. And when you take him off the court, it changes the entire dynamic. Jaren Jackson Jr. Here's the thing, Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bane are going to have to score. Bane had a horrible game 3. And the Grizzlies were still scoring like crazy in the first half. Guys, Desmond Bane goes 3 for 14 from the field, 2 for 11 from beyond the arc, 10 points in game 3. He's going to need the type of game that he put on against the Golden State Warriors in the play-in in San Francisco if the Grizzlies are going to even stand a chance. Now, Scottie Pippen had a great game. Pippen Jr. scored 28 points on 6 for 10 from beyond the arc. That's great. I don't think they're going to be able to put together 4 quarters against this Thunder team who are one of the best regular season, and now we can just say one of the best NBA teams of all time. And obviously, again, the jury's still out on that. We're going to see how great historically they are come, obviously, the second round and potentially the Western Conference Finals and the NBA Finals. The Grizzlies are just outmatched, and now, again, some serious questions are going to have to be asked about where does this team go in the future? What really are they now? I don't know. I don't think you again. They need another star. They need Kevin Durant. I don't think Durant's going to come here, but the Grizzlies have tried trade deadline after trade deadline, and I just don't think Durant's going to be moved to Memphis, Tennessee. But we'll see. They're going to have to do something because the same core, it's not going to work. We've seen it too many times, and Memphis hasn't really come out on top. Yes, Zach Edey's going to get better as his career goes on, but this main core for Memphis will not win anything. And yes, they just ran into the Thunder, but guys, let's just be honest, pretty much every team in the West, I think this happens to. I don't know. The Thunder are going to play closer series as the playoffs go on, but in the first round, this is just kind of what's going to happen to you. After playing in the play-in, yeah, Thunder dominate Game 4 and the Thunder sweep. This was one of the easier ones to call all playoffs long. Thunder sweep, and it's really not that close. Next up, we move on to our third game of the day. We go to the Intuit Dome in Los Angeles, California for the Los Angeles Clippers and the Denver Nuggets. I said this at the very beginning of the series, and I remain clear on this fact. I really just didn't think the Nuggets stood a chance. The Clippers are the better basketball team. When I detailed my contenders in the Western Conference, and sure, the Lakers are on that list. Are they still on that list? Yeah, but I don't think they're on par right now as the Clippers. I think the Clippers are better than the Lakers, personally, at least right now. Obviously, again, if we got that series in the Western Conference Finals, and that the dynamic changes. And I couldn't even tell you who's the best team in that side of the bracket now in the West. Lakers, Wolves, Warriors, and Rockets. What I will likely say is that whoever gets out of the Clippers-Thunder series is likely going to the NBA Finals. We'll see again if the Lakers can put something together. Hell, if the Golden State Warriors can put something together. Regardless of that, I felt pretty good about the Clippers winning the series. I thought they were much better than Denver, and it's showing at this point. It really is. A blowout Game 3. The game was really never competitive. Denver got out to a slight lead in the first quarter. I remember at one point they were up 6 points. I was like, all right, maybe Denver can do something here. No. The Nuggets get held at 19 points in the second quarter, and the Clippers just continue to run away with the lead. So the Clippers ultimately win that basketball game. They really never, it was never in danger. It was never in doubt. They didn't need an extensive night out of Kawhi Leonard. Even though he did play 35 minutes, Kawhi did not need to go full, carry mode and takeover mode in this game. Him, Harden, and Norman Powell all passed the 20-point mark, and Ivica Zubac was 1 point off of that line, obviously, with 19. This Clippers lineup is great. They just are. Everyone on the court can score, and then you get Chris Dunn, who I will keep saying I think is a very huge part of this lineup and part of this team, especially when they go up against the Thunder in the next round, as long as they can get past Denver, right? If Chris Dunn can consistently, or at least at a 50% rate, I don't know if he can do that, but if Chris Dunn can kind of just, be a viable threat in the corner where he just sits on offense, yeah, it changes the game because you force respect out of a team like Denver or like OKC to have to, look at that 3-point shot and say, all right, Chris Dunn's going to take it, and, we're going to have to make a decision. Are we going to let him shoot that, or are we going to try to put a hand in his face and then potentially open up Kawhi Leonard or James Harden, or even Zubac down low, right? I mean, there's just too many guys on this Clippers team that could potentially hurt you. And that's what the Nuggets are suffering on right now. For one, they can't keep up offensively, right? There's only so much Joker can do, right? I mean, you look at the game they played a couple days ago and how they shot. They need to play almost a perfect game to beat Los Angeles, and that's ultimately what Game 1 was. And I said it at the time, and I'm going to say it again. I just didn't think Denver was going to be able to repeat that 3 more times, and obviously that's kind of been the case. Yes, Jokic is the second best player in the league. Put up 23, 13, and 12. Sorry, 23, 13, and 13 in game number 3. Yet his team still lost by 30 points, 30 plus points, 34 points. There's just levels to this. And again, this is not a slight on Jokic because Jokic is trying his all and he's by far the best guy on this team. But when Jamal Murray is your number 2, who had a great championship run back in 2022, but is he a viable number 2 on a championship team? Let's just be honest, guys. No, he's not anymore. But the Nuggets are tied to his money, they're tied to his contract, and ultimately he's going to stay here. So again, the core around Jokic will eventually have to change, and we'll see how they adjust to that. But this team right now that they have in this core, I don't think they can win. And the Clippers are the all-around better built team, and they've got the vets that are here to win, and they have a healthy Kawhi Leonard come the playoffs. The Clippers are dangerous, and they're going to remain to be dangerous. You look at the line for this game, the Clippers are 6.5 point favorites, minus 240 on the money line. I'm cool with that. I'm taking the Los Angeles Clippers to win and cover. I think this game kind of goes the direction of game number 3. I think the Clippers, again, it's a close first quarter, and I think the Clippers just continue to pull away. If the Nuggets aren't completely hot from the three-point line and can't find ways to keep gaining more and more momentum, they're screwed. And that's what's going to happen in this one. The Clippers are going to snatch that momentum straight from them, and ultimately the Clippers are going to win this game, and they're going to win it by 10 plus points. I think the Nuggets will probably get a Game 5. It's back in Denver, season on the line, but Game 6 is where I think the Clippers completely take this one over and just kind of dominate the Nuggets and finally get their revenge from the bubble in 2020. Now, we have seen the Clippers blow a 3-1 lead to the Nuggets in the past. We'll see. I don't think that's going to happen this year. The Clippers, I don't know if they're better than they were in the bubble, but the Nuggets certainly aren't as good, and they're not the Nuggets we've seen over the past couple years. So give me the Clippers here. They're going to win this basketball game, and they will cover the 6.5 points here at home against the Denver Nuggets. We go on to our final game of the day, and we go to San Francisco, California, to the Chase Center. The big one tonight, the Golden State Warriors versus the Houston Rockets. I mean, this has been the big game all year, all postseason long so far, at least on this schedule of games where the Rockets and Warriors have been featured. And game 2, man, a 109-94 victory for the Rockets. Was it a blowout win? No, but was the end result ever in doubt? Honestly, no. After that first quarter and really into the second, we kind of just always felt like, with Jimmy injury obviously happening in the game, it kind of just felt like that was Houston's one to win. And they did. And we talked about the importance of that game going into it. I said it myself. I said, if the Rockets aren't able to win this game, the series is over. Because they're not going to Golden State and they're not stealing 2 games there. Maybe they can get 1, but they're back at 3-1 and they're not overcoming that against the Warriors. That's how huge that game 2 was for them. Now they get the Warriors on the road for game 3. And Jimmy Butler is questionable with a pelvis and deep glute muscle contusion. I don't think he's playing. I just don't think so. Maybe he does, but at what percent is he going to be at if he does play this game? I'd expect them to sit Jimmy tonight and let him play game 4 at home on Monday, better rested. Because it's only 1 day off in between this game and game 4, and that's how the rest of the series goes, right? The series goes Saturday, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday from here on out. So they really have to manage this Butler injury the best of their ability. And if that means going down 1-2, it is what it is. But ultimately, that is a series-altering injury. Because regardless, again, like I said earlier, regardless of if Butler is playing or not, at what percent is he going to be on the court? And what, again, offensively will he bring and defensively at the same time? So no Jimmy Butler means welcome back Jonathan Kuminga. You got completely squeezed out the rotation, and now here you are not playing in game 1. You play 25 minutes in game number 2, and you're likely starting now. Maybe they start Quentin Post and go big. Maybe they start Buddy Hield for some shooting. But if Kuminga's usage in game 2 is any, indicator, I think the cum bucket's likely starting, which is fine, but it's like this guy hasn't played meaningful basketball in a minute. It is what it is. Steve Kerr rotations. The Warriors won't be able to beat the Rockets without Jimmy Butler. I think Vegas is kind of 50-50 on if Jimmy plays or not. That's why the line is this way, and that's why the Rockets are plus 130. The Warriors just aren't able to score without Jimmy Butler because Curry is smothered every single possession. But that's fine when Jimmy's in the court because, okay, just give the ball to Jimmy Butler, and playoff Jimmy Butler is a real thing. Jimmy's going to find a way to put the ball in the hoop, and he's going to find a way, again, to find bottom. But when he's not in the court, okay, now the number 2 is who? Kuminga, who went 4 for 12 shooting in game 2. Is Podziemski, who went 0 for 5 and scored 0 points. Is Moses Moody? I don't like that. I don't. Amen Thompson has kind of had Steph Curry somewhat in hell in game 2. Curry still led the Warriors in scoring, but he went 6 for 15 from the field, 20 points. And the Rockets had a great game out of Jalen Green. Green finally showed up. Again, he's the definition of a volume shooter and volume player. He had a bad game 1, but looked like a all-star in game number 2. Went 13 for 25 from the field, 8 for 18 from the three-point line, and scored 38 points. Şengün was good in spots. Dillon Brooks was good in spots, and we know how good Amen Thompson is and the athlete. That guy is one of the better athletes in all of the game. I think the Rockets win this one. I just think they do. And this is a game where they can really just kind of control and dictate the rest of the series now. If they can get this game number 3, we'll see what Jimmy's availability is in game number 4. Regardless of that, the Rockets just got to take one of these next 2 to reclaim home court advantage in the series. And I think they get it tonight. That's kind of how I'm going to attack the Lakers tomorrow as well. If the Lakers can just win tomorrow, then they have home court advantage once again, going back, and it's a 3-game series, and 2 of those games are being played in Los Angeles. Again, we'll get to that tomorrow, But I think the Rockets win this game. I think, again, they smother Steph Curry, don't really allow Curry to shot make and really bury the city of Houston like he's done so many times in the past. And without Jimmy Butler on the court, there is no true number 2. You can say, oh, it's Podziemski, oh, it's Moody, oh, it's Jonathan Kuminga. Those guys are not Jimmy Butler, and they're not going to be able to make up for the offense that guy, again, gives up when he's not on the court. And again, it does it, with no Jimmy Butler and Kuminga starting now. I know he wasn't playing playoff minutes, but now you look at this, bench rotation and you're like, all right, we're still looking for guys who can score because Jimmy Butler can't play the non-Steph Curry minutes anymore. It just screws everything up for the Warriors. I think, and they got Pat Spencer, who immediately came into the game in game 2 and sunk, 5 shots and had 11 points. But that's just not going to be enough for the Warriors to win this basketball game. The Rockets are all around better with the Warriors not having Jimmy Butler, and I don't think Jimmy's playing today. And even if he does, he's not going to be nowhere near 100%. So I'm taking the Houston Rockets to win this game on the road at the Chase Center, and we get incredible value for this play, plus 3.5 for the Rockets, or just take the money line, which is what I will likely do, plus 130 for the Houston Rockets here on the road in Golden State in San Francisco against the Golden State Warriors. So folks, thank y'all for watching our NBA predictions and best bets here for April 26th. If you haven't yet though, make sure that subscribe button down below for more. Make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy the video. Make sure to comment if you do disagree with any of the picks. Folks, thank y'all for watching, and Mamba forever.